Okay, shoulders back. Get comfortable in your chair. Relax. Take a deep breath. You're all ready. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Centering, grounding. Feel the roots from the bottom of your feet go into the earth. As you open and expand, take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. We're going to go right up here. All right. Allow those random thoughts to come in and gently release them to quiet your mind. Continue to focus on your normal breathing. Okay. We're at the garden gate where your angel or guide is waiting to greet you. They extend their hand and you both walk together down a short path into the beautiful garden. The colors are vibrant around you. You smell the flowers, feel the soft breeze on your face. Tucked away in this garden is an outdoor shower. You're guided to the shower. It's clean and it's safe and it's private, reserved just for you. You step into the shower as the head turns on above you. This gentle flow of cleansing energy feels like a warm hug around your energetic self, nice and warm. Allow it to wash away your stress, your tension, and your worries right now. Just let it go and release. This pure loving energy is also removing the debris from your aura and helping you feel lighter and at peace. All the negative energies are being released into the drain. When you've completed your shower, you're guided to step out, have a seat in the garden. Anywhere on the grass is good. And this is where you're planting your feet firmly on the ground, allowing those energetic roots at the bottom of your feet to be your grounding and centering. As the roots go into the earth, they find their way into the unlimited supply of golden and white shimmery goodness. You have clarity, enlightenment, and pure source energy. As your roots absorb this goodness, you begin to feel it as a light massage, rejuvenating you from your feet, ankles, legs, all the way up your body. At the cellular level, you feel the healing process, the soothing, pure, loving energy, hitting all the places your body needs to be at its best state of well-being. Still using this energy, we begin at 396. This is the root chakra. We're clearing, we're removing energetic blocks, negative energy, replacing it with pure love and healing light, protection, and balance. We're activating and expanding, as well as aligning and connecting each chakra as we go, moving upwards to the sacral chakra at 417, bringing that confidence and creativity, expanding, balancing, aligning, and connecting. Moving up to the solar plexus at 528, bringing that life force energy, expanding, activating, and aligning up to the heart chakra at 639. This is to love ourselves and others, having compassion, healing, forgiveness, and understanding. Moving to the throat chakra at 741. This is the effective communication and self-expression, expanding and aligning and connecting up to the third eye chakra at 852. This is inspired reflection. Take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. We're walking now into the we're going we're going forward up to the crown. Let's see, at 963. Connecting your highest state of consciousness. And lastly, moving into 1111, 2222, 3333, and 4444. As we are together, we are connected clockwise at the heart chakra, moving up to the third eye chakra. We're convening together, connecting the heart chakra to the earth grid in front of us, which is now right where we need to connect the heart to the grid. We use the key, we plug it into the grid, turn the key, and we are now consciously sending love, light, balance, awareness, and healing to the earth, all its inhabitants, and for everybody's best state of well-being. As we're connected, we ask for any protection that we may need. And since we are in the higher realms of communication, we will be opening that up as of now.
There's an image I want to share with you, and this is me relating the pinwheel. There's a pinwheel of energy. There's a very clear image of teardrops that come together around a center, and in this case, there are 3 teardrops. And there are stripes on the teardrops, and it is a pinwheel which is designed to rotate, to move clockwise, and the play on pin, because the pinning, there's it hurts, right, to be pinned, but this is a pinwheel, and there's some kind of a transmutation between pin and the laughter and the joy that comes from playful awareness of the pinwheel, of the movement and the joy that accompanies that movement, even when there is pin pain, the pinning pain. Even in the midst of that, there is a greater joy, a much greater joy. Yeah, it's shifting now. He's definitely more common. He's more. We're shifting over a bit. That gate of that pinwheel. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Now, I'm just assuming, because of what you said before the session, that you did not necessarily want to channel today. Do you still feel this way?
Yeah, it's not necessary. It's if I can help. He's available. He's
Okay.
available. It's that sort of playful encounter.
Uh,
There's no should.
okay, good.
Mm.
Well, I just want to make sure because I did get some light.
Sure, sure.
And
Go for it.
let's take a look. Okay, we're getting a little closer. Right. It's definitely a feminine energy. She shows me her sort of feminine powers. Hmm. Huh. You know, I work with Moon. She's also kind of like woman in the sun,
Ah,
right? Yeah.
Amaterasu.
Uh,
Amaterasu in Japan. She is the goddess of the sun.
okay.
Mm.
Now she's showing me she's spinning. She's like the sun. She's spinning.
It's-
Um, with sort of flames leaping out of her. Okay, great. Lots of power here. Okay, again, I'm wanted to, it is feminine. There's something important about that for all of us. Let us move a little further, getting a little closer. She's sort of welcoming me and showing me this place, right? Okay, what is this place? Wow. Hmm. Okay, I think this is a significant image. It's almost like I'm going through a junkyard on one side,
Mhm,
right? And
mhm,
just a junkyard, but almost also sort of people who look lost.
mhm,
It's on one side, but there's like another side which is really bright.
mhm.
Sounds like the question we're asking. I'm just going to go and see if we're going to just do some channeling for a few minutes. Could you tell me? Okay, I'm just asking her name.
Mm.
Starts with an A, like Annalise or something. Does that work for you?
Amaterasu. I hear Amaterasu.
Ah,
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 A,
okay.
ah, Ama, Ama.
Uh-huh.
Ama is the name for a great mother. Ama.
Okay, let's just go with Amma, and I'm just gonna ask if that's okay.
Oh
She's just
my.
like, "Yep, you got it," or should I say, "B got it." So, let's go ahead
A,
and go.
B, C.
Right. Let's go further. Did you
Oh
want to?
wow.
And I'm just gonna ask her to show me something from the light.
Mm,
You know, very interesting, B. She shows me you, but
mm,
she's also showing me the light that surrounds you right now. It's a
mhm,
really remarkable image. It's almost like you've got like a headdress of lights. Never seen anything like it, but
mhm,
I think that's an important message for you right now,
mm,
personally.
mm,
All right, so I'm satisfied with that image. Did
mm.
you want to talk through me? Yeah, she's convincing me to not be distracted by the sawing that's going on next door. I will, okay, I'm getting there. All right. It's going to be just a minute or two before Dave sort of registers all of this. He's a little bit distracted this morning, not the end of the world, but now there, of course, is the banging. It won't distract him too much. Now that I am here, just putting myself in his body. So we would be most appreciative if you would begin with any questions that you have, so we can direct our answer.
Mm. I do have a question. I am being drawn and have been drawn into your imagery, and I understand your presence and I welcome it, and I'm very grateful, very,
Hmm.
very grateful for you here. This is a beautifully unexpected surprise. And I would like to ask you just a bit about the head dress that you wear. And I have a perhaps, I don't know if it's denser or higher, but there is a fundamental connection between myself and serpents, dragons, snakes, and the figure of Medusa, which we talked about earlier before we began this session. And I would like to know if you could explain to me a little bit more about your head dress.
First of all, Dave is very amused at all of these things coming together. He did not recognize that the God that he was calling forward is exactly the God that you called forward, if you will. And if you might call me a God, I'm not. I'm just a feature of the light. But
Yes,
we
yes.
want you to notice that there is sort of light, much like the sort of Medusa is a bit loaded. We would
Mm,
rather say something like, imagine yourself with
mm,
almost rays of light that are sort of
mm,
around you, sort of swirling
mm,
around you, if you will.
mm,
This
mm,
is impossible to be with heavy energies as these things are coming about. And we are sorry that this is happening to you. It is inevitable that this does happen when people sort of achieve the light. The denser energy people around them become unpleasant. They will force themselves out of your life before you will do so. They will do that, and they are doing you a sort of service. It is almost as if they have been given the letter, the card that says, it is time for you to go now. It is time for you to leave. And they will sort of be inspired to act in an attacking way or a way that is very patronizing. They will become totally unacceptable in their behaviors so that you have no choice. In a sense, they are doing exactly as they should do because they are no longer a match for you. There is a time when these people were connected and they truly were connected. They were very real in the place that they were. And perhaps they were halfway in the light and you were halfway in the light at that time. We want you to know that the relationship was not an unreal one. There was a connection there, there was love there, and that did not stop. It's just simply evolved into something that isn't really what you want. That is, everyone has a choice, and denser energy people are making their choices. They are deciding not to be in the light. In your particular case, we might say, imagine that your partner had been more open. He could have taken a good deal of joy in the fact that you were moving to this direction and thought it was a wonderful thing and joined you and been very curious. He
mm,
chose not to, and that is his choice. And what is difficult about your humanness is that you're living in a place where you make your choices and other people make their choices, and they simply may not line up very
mm,
well. And that's
mm,
that. There's nothing that you can
mm,
do. You cannot
mm,
control others. This
mm,
is a lesson that is constantly being taught to Dave, specifically, which is that you cannot change others. You can give them the information, the opportunity, the possibility of change, but it really is up to them. And this is the
mm,
case, for example, in his siblings, who, now that he's not speaking to them, may very well start to make some changes.
mm,
As people are with these sort of dark energies, they are
mm,
rewarded for their darkness in the same. The
mm,
headdress is really just a symbolic image, or image of Medusa and her power is very vivid and it's very useful and it's not untrue, but frankly we find it a bit sexist. Of course it is this woman who is evil or dark or has snakes in her
right,
hair. Why
right,
would we not look at the snakes as being fecundite images or images of a woman's
right.
power? Because of course it was interpreted by a sexist culture. The Greeks are not
Mm,
famous for their equality among others. Keep in mind these people had slaves. They were not particularly kind people, nor were they always in the light per se. They were an early construction of a culture that was making some strides in areas like technology and a little bit of spirit, but they are nothing like where you are now. So let us reconstruct this image as we are doing so right now and make it an image of great power, an image of woman's power, which can be applicable for men too. It has nothing to do with your actual physical gender. It has to do with a degree of understanding and respect for what it is. What is emerging now is the more fiery part of the feminine that is not passive, that is not always agreeing, that is not always finding a solution, that is not always patient. And that useful feminine is wearing a bit thin. It is no longer particularly practical for everyone to be kind and peaceful right now. It has to be a little bit asserted at the moment. You might think of, let us say, protecting a child against a shooter, or the person who is doing that is active. They may even go to the shooter and clunk them over the head with a brick. Their version of peace is not to be passive or let this happen. It is unfortunate but very real that a little aspect of this is happening to all of you in your lives, to some greater or lesser degree. Some of you are in better situations. You have partners or friends who are a little bit more able to connect with where you're going. But for you, B in particular, at this moment, it's somewhat like you are fighting the battle alone. We wish to alleviate that and point out that the two people that you're speaking with you today are completely willing and open to have a frank and friendly conversation. In a sense, you might say they are your new family, and we would suggest that you gravitate towards only those people who represent your new family, and that you do not give one more ounce of time to those who are not your family. You have practice in this. This is one advantage. And we would ask that you see that as an actual advantage. You've already done this at a more primal level. This is just an extension of your own independence. Really, we want you to spend as much time healing in the light. Do not be too demanding of yourself. We're getting a little bit off the subject of what the cap is, but think of this as a headdress. Put it on, wear it with some degree of pride. And when you get to some situations where you feel confronted, just wear the helmet. You don't need even to say anything, or perhaps say very little. Understand that you know what you know. You are not self-deluded, right? So it is always one who questions oneself to see, am I fooling myself? And you are not. You were fooling yourself to some degree before, but you were making your best effort to make things work out exactly as you should. It's just that the light shone a little too brightly on the truth. And as it shone too brightly, you were not able to ignore it, nor was he. And this is the important thing to notice. They will take themselves out. Dave's siblings are not going out of their way to call him. He went out of his way to be kind to them, to try to make amends, but they did not respond because they are stuck in their own ego, their own understanding of themselves in a past way. This will be true of many people around all three of you. They are understanding themselves in a past way, and it served them. Imagine the captain of the football team. It serves him. He is happy. Everybody approves of him. He is in the center of the light. Everybody wants to go out with him, and he doesn't really need to do any particular kind of work. We could make this analogy for the cheerleader on the team too. But 40 years later, they are no longer so good at football. People are dropping off. What you are left with, there's just these sort of hangers on of people that are living in the past because there was no inspiration to move forward. There was no pain to move through per se, or at least it was a pain that they simply ignored as they sucked up the attention that they were getting. In some senses, it's very much an advantage that one is not the most popular kid in school, because there is no way you can continually achieve being the most popular kid in school throughout one's life. You can see many political leaders who are trying to maintain or create such status and failing. It simply is not working, and the old world is not working. Things really are falling away. And we want to point out again this feminine power, which to them is quite dangerous. Understand that you are frightening them. You have that helmet on. They can sense it if they cannot see it, and they are afraid. They're also afraid when you disengage, when they try to get in an argument with you and you refuse. That is confusing for them. Their ability to change the subject is no longer working for anyone. In short, that helmet is something that we would ask you to wear with pride. Understand that it is protecting you to some degree and informing you, and that it is also frightening some people. So it will, in some senses, be your responsibility to be diplomatic as you go about your business. But for those who are frightened or fearful, for those who react in a negative sense, this is just an indication for you to push them aside and move to the more bright people, the people who you will make a difference for, or the people who see you as you are. This goes for everyone that is going through the present process of changing. Some of us are a little bit more in a slightly less dramatic position. And this is, when we say us, we kind of mean Dave as well, that these things have sort of already passed through. You are just at the critical moment right now, and it is indeed certainly not a pleasant way of being. But we want you to notice how you are maintaining yourself quite well. You are not angry, you are not crying, you are not inactive. You are very much the opposite. You are very much moving into your own power. This is not accidental. This is something that you have woven and created with the universe. Just as Dave manifested the beach house, which he always believed was completely impossible to manifest, here we are. And notice, you did make a wish some time ago that you be in better relationship with the light. What is sometimes unfortunate about these movements toward the light is there is a price to pay. You do have to give up some shadows. And those shadows, as you're giving them up, are difficult. They remind us of loves that we have experienced. And we move sometimes into a fear that we will not be able to have any kind of love if we move away from this memory of love. Wear this helmet with pride. Understand that it is your power. There's nothing wrong with it. And understand the image is connected in many ways. It could be connected in a Japanese sense of what the gods are looking like. It could be a Greek god that looks in a particular way. You can give much form to these ideas, but the real idea, the real experience is your own, what you are going through right now. The images are perhaps energies more than metaphors. The physical reality is neither. It is something that is really occurring practically, but it is a reflection of those energies that are going on within you and the universe. Have we answered your question?
Oh, just really beautifully. The context in which this is happening goes far beyond our conversation, and I deeply appreciate that.
You're very welcome. We would note that both of you very much came to Dave's rescue when his friend took her own life. It is sometimes going to be appropriate that personal things, personal information come in
Mhm.
because they are indeed reflections of what many people are going through. And
Mhm.
because you do need to maintain a sort of level of awareness and understanding, and that is very much helped by friends.
Indeed, indeed. And I think thank you, Amma, if I may say, Amma, for being a friend,
You are very
friend,
welcome.
for coming in and releasing what you've explained to me is this dark mapping that I'm realizing that Medusa herself did not feel she was wearing snakes. She probably dressed and loved her hair and herself in the mirror just as any other. But it is the gaze of others who map the darkness onto her. And
Note
mm,
Note in the metaphor of Medusa that she is a woman whose power has been taken away from her. That is,
exactly,
man has taken her power,
exactly,
redefined it, and used it for his own purposes.
exactly.
This
Mm,
was the
mm,
error of the direction of the Greeks. That is,
mm, mm,
for some time, you might have considered the world a feminine thing,
mm,
focused on generation and creation. And
mm,
then there was this sort of masculine thing that happened for a few thousand years, a time of creation and making and science, etc. There's nothing wrong with such things per se. However, that is becoming wrong when it denies a portion of the universe. And you might consider now a refiguring, a
Mm,
rejoining, a reconnecting, so that things are more in balance than they were. This
mm,
is affecting you greatly, all of you, but
mm.
it has certain inflection points like this one.
Mm, very, very much, very much. And it helps to reorient these incidents like breakups or splits or arguments or these what we experience as breaks are actually synapses. You know, I mean, ju- we're actually capable of jumping those breaks and firing through, you know, firing through this body of light in ways that it helps to illuminate for others because you know the power, the force of those arguments, the dissonance, right? That enters, that erupts from this dense area is it can be distracting. It can be very disrupting. So I really appreciate this opening onto sunlight, the very
Yes.
basics, very basics. Yeah.
Don't hesitate to feel the light, especially
Mm,
in moments of high stress or moments where you feel
mm,
unhappy. Don't
mm,
hesitate to feel our light. We will send it to you. Also, we will send little messages, little hints to
mm,
confirm. That is, when you've asked for the light, we will let you know that indeed we've heard you and we are now sending the light through various symbolic things like birds and animals or just events that surround you. We will
absolutely,
make
absolutely.
them somewhat subtle, but not
Mhm.
entirely subtle.
Mm, mm, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you.
You
And
are
I would ask, we're coming down to our time frame. Penny, would you like to step in any way?
Yes, sure. Thank you. Thank you again for coming through the beautiful gift of healing, the enlightenment of turning Medusa into the healing medical
Mm.
Cassius that we appreciate and know and trust. That was very enlightening and very appreciative. Thank you.
very much welcome. Is there any question you'd wish to ask?
Just pure gratitude.
Very
Yes.
good.
Mm,
Yeah.
Very
I
mm.
think that gave us a how to, at least a starting point in all of the changes in our lives um, coming up and what we're facing right now. So thank you.
You are very welcome. We want to note that your Reiki work is helping you along in a very special way. You are reining in this sort of advantage for yourself, and it is quite successful how you are doing it, how you are negotiating it. It is impressive that you do this in a way that is not so ego bound. And this is one of the reasons why you are proceeding so well. We don't want to criticize anyone here. Everyone is doing great work, but we do want to point out the advantages of Reiki and how it is
Mm.
helping you, how it is informing you, shall we say. In that case, we will let you continue. We will end this transmission. We would ask finally that you feel the rays of light on you and know that we are there and we are supporting you in times which are easy and in times which are difficult. Don't hesitate to ask. Don't hesitate to ask for a rays of light. We will bring them and do our best to ameliorate any problem.
Thank you.